Welcome back to Daybreak, and we are continuing. Today is Tuesday. We'd like to switch things up a little bit and always give a little bit of some inspiration on a Tuesday, because by Monday you're through the Monday blues. So Tuesday tunakupatia kitu tunaitanga reset. And as I've often said, I'm a prophet in this regard. And this is Dr. Welly Odendo. Not yet, but I have prophesied, and it is so. Welly Odendo joins us as always today. We have a very interesting topic. Many a times we go through different life hurdles, and it's not every day you'll be at the top. Even if you are at the top, you'll still face some challenges, and most of these challenges are described as a fall. So today we want to talk about how do you rise from a fall. It could be a fall in a relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship and you cheated, and now you want to rise up. Maybe you're in a job and you messed up and you got fired, now you're jobless, or you got suspended. Maybe you started a project and it failed midway. So there's so many other areas. Maybe you were born again, or rather born again, and you backslid. Hey, maybe you started a fast of 40 days and you ukafika 20. Minutes. See, days, 20 minutes. Na ikafika hapo. So basically, we want to talk about rising from a fall. Today we want to switch it up a little bit for you in terms of we want to get more insights and questions from you. So you're welcome to Twitter using the hashtag Daybreak. I'll say that hashtag again, Daybreak. There it is right there on the screen. You can use that hashtag and also tag at Citizen TV Kenya, at Willis Roburu, at Welly Odendo. You can also text us on 22422. That number again is 22422. We are rising from a fall.
Yes.
Isn't it important, Welly, to know that, first of all, falls will happen?
Yeah, it is important.
Is it bad? Because I know you're supposed to always expect good things, but is it bad to expect a fall?
Well, it is not bad to expect a fall. It's actually healthy to expect it. Because I believe that the growth of a person and the development of a person is how he's able to manage his experiences and his expectations. And most of the times the two are in conflict. You expect, you experience a little bit lower. And so when people are hit by unexpected results, a bad grade, you expected 470, 450, you get
yes, especially, yeah, that is the latest fall.
The latest fall.
If you can use that word.
You start with first asking, this, I have my mocks, I performed this way. And sometimes it brings a lot of inner conflict. What I think is most important is that whenever, whichever phase you are in life, the quicker you regain your control, the faster you're going to move forward. You cannot steer your life in any direction if you leave everything to experience. Whatever you're experiencing right now, if you allow the forces of experience to take charge and steer your life, you're going to skid off, and eventually you're going to have a fall. You know, it starts as a setback, then it becomes a significant fall. So you have to ensure that you have to learn the fundamentals of remaining in control in any situation. That's the only way you're going to achieve your ultimate goal as you're intending to go forward.
So, but there is that moment of setback. Yes. Yeah, how are you? Because there's time before you get from what they call a setback to a comeback. It's very easy to say, God gonna turn around. Your setback will be your comeback.
When the keyboard is playing.
Yeah, it's one thing to say it, but then you go home and you have that setback still facing you, and now you have to apply some practical steps to recover.
The first and most important step in any situation for actually overcoming a setback is just regaining control. The first and most important step is accepting my reality is not what I planned or set out for. You can never begin to adjust and adapt without accepting, because all setbacks, they come to test your ability to adjust and adapt. Either adjust the strategy and adapt to a new set of rules and values, either adjust the expenditure, either adjust the people in your team. Everything will come to that. But before we get to that adjustment phase, it always starts with acceptance. The longer you take in accepting, you're going to either be spending money, spending emotions, trying to make a leg of a horse that is broken, hoping that because I love the horse too much, chances are it will get better. But the earlier I accept the leg of my horse is broken, and I have to accept that chances are I have to make up my mind, can I take care of a broken, because this will never get back to be. I have to kill it, I have to stop, I have to start training myself to live without expecting to ever achieve that particular goal. It looks easy when you're talking about acceptance, but that is what postpones many people from making decisions. It keeps them in suspense because they're still saying, you know, my God, I wish if so-and-so would not have done this, and so-and-so would not have done this, and so-and-so would not have done this, I would not be here. But unfortunately, so-and-so has done this, so-and-so has done this, and so-and-so has done this. So the fact is that you are now dealing with the reality that they have already done. You expected for them to be there. We started this Kabiashara. Everybody was to bring 60K. You brought yours. And then then they ditched you last minute. So you have got, you are in debt. And now you are overstretched. And then you're thinking, this guy is messing me up. You have to first accept. That's the first and most complex phase. Unfortunately, there's something which I call identifying with the situation. Some are social identifiers because situations have got a way of building or identifying. If I expected to hit 400 and I hit 350, that 50 gap, I identify with that gap as I have failed. So I begin to take the identification of the gap or the situation I'm in, and I start identifying myself as a failure, I'm good for nothing, I'm all this. If you allow that experience to define your identity, eventually you're going to lack ability to rise because identity is the building block for destiny. You cannot destroy your identity and rise into your destiny. It is just like, it's like a picture. Or if I give you a picture of New York and maybe you're supposed to see Lady Liberty, and if you're flying over the waters and they tell you, by the way, you are just entering and and you are this, the first thing you'll want to see off the window is where is Lady Liberty? Because I already have the image in me. So I expect to see it. So what came first? The image, then the destination. The same way it is with life. If you start building the identity because I did not get this mark, or I'm not living in this house, or I'm not driving that car, I identify myself with what I have not done and not gotten, and I brand myself as a failure, then guess what? You're about to have a failure's destination because you're starting to begin to build the identity and the image, and you'll start looking for lady failure, lady frustration, lady, because you have already built that social identification with the season you are in. So that's some of the things that you have to be careful. Never allow your setback to be your identity. You must separate yourself in any season that you're in. You have to be above it and independent of that season in order to rule it. So
you have to be above the situation. I'm looking at some comments coming in. First of all, I'd like to send a big shout out to Jacob Yoga. Yoga Foyoni. Oya Baba. One carry. And then also to ask, and once again, I like to commend Abel and the graphics team. They put a very good picture, and if they can put it up in a short while, there it is. So that then tells me one thing, that whenever you have a fall, and I know we are jumping the gun a little bit, but you will need somebody to pick you up, right? But not everybody mwenye ana stretch kukuchukua while you're at a fall. Ni wale wa kusaidia. The Lion King is about to come out again next year, and it's created such a buzz. Now the actual movie. But there's a scene there, almost like that picture we've seen, where it seems Mufasa is falling down a cliff, and then Scar anamshika hivi mkono. So anadhani ni kama anaenda kumsaidia. Alafu anamsema long live the king, na anamwachilia. So how do you know when you are, because you know when you fall you're vulnerable, you're hurting, and then there are people who will obviously reach out to you. How do you know that these people who are reaching out to you are not using you or using your situation, you know, to either better themselves or just look like I mean, it happens a lot these days, to rallying behind people on social media, false appearances just to be around on TV, to come it's going to happen. So how do you know that the people who are showing up for you are with you and they're not trying to use you or your situation?
To be honest, in my experience, I've found out that people are the hardest to tell their motives because there are people who are willing to help you at level 1, but they are not ready to survive you to move to the next level. And so when you move to the next level, those who are helpful in level 1, they either turn against you when you're moving to level 2. And they want you to remain a prisoner of level 1. And if you keep graduating and overcoming levels, some people who are helpful at the levels beneath turn, instead of becoming helpful, they begin to be hurtful because they consistently feel you lifting off from where they were. We started the Jobo together, we started the Nini, and then I moved to the next level. They begin to feel you've abandoned us. But maybe the time input of level 2 is more than the time input of level 1. But they are not willing to allow you to graduate to the time demands of level 2. Now, when you get to level 7, that means people at level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 are not necessarily are supposed to be your enemies, but sometimes you cannot help that the people who are helpful at your foundation are now very hurtful and are your number 1 antagonist at level 7 because they begin to see you differently. So it becomes very difficult. What I would advise, especially when it comes to choosing people that can be helpful to you, is before you choose your path, choose your mentor. I know this is overrated and overstated, but success is like going up Mount Kenya. You always ask for a guide. You may have the bags, you may have the compass, you may have the equipment, but the terrain,
you don't know.
You don't know. And so always have a guide, somebody whom you invite into your life to be the voice above the other voices in your life. That will relieve you 50% of the pressure. Number 2, you have to find seasoned warriors, people who've actually been. You cannot ask help from people. If you're running a multi-million company, make relations with people who are at your same level of pressure or above your level of pressure because they've learned the terrain. Make relationships and friendships with seasoned people who have gone through the kind of terrain you've gone through and they're able to be present in your life. And thirdly, you have to be able to be committed to the friends before you hit setbacks. Most of us, we allow success to choose friends for us. You move hoods, you abandon friends. These are now the self-inflicted ones. Always have friends that your bond is not success, your bond is nothing else but your humanity. What that will do is, it will keep you grounded, that these are the only 2 people that I don't have to be a bishop, a speaker, a what. I can just be a guy. I can sit down and have easy moments with them. When you have people, you can have easy moments with them, you can have difficult conversations with them, that if your house is locked right now and you go bam at their place there for a night or 2 or 3 days, it will be normal for you. It is important to have those kind of friendships. Unfortunately, we don't build those friendships, we sacrifice. The people who, when you land into trouble, you'll sleep at their house, chances are you've not been available for their things. So you've been absent. Nimeshikana, kuna story may come up. But those are the people that you should be present for their things. Even if it looks stupid or meager, you have to be present for some people. Because when you hit a setback, those people whom you're busy posting your trips with, you'll find that you don't feel even comfortable for them to know.
Hashtag Naivasha again.
Yeah. You can't tell them, tumechujua job, tumechujua nini. You need to move in and tell them, hey, manze kunale wase, go for sleepovers with your boys. Create an atmosphere where you have friends who, if anything happens to you as a person, you are actually not ashamed to pack your nylon bags were banned. So whatever bag you have in your house, call them up and say, hey, niaje bro, nakamivo kwako. And they'll tell you, where come, ukifika, so unajua penye ki iko, miss iko, but you can come in and move in, and you can begin to rebuild from there. It matters. They create an atmosphere you have with your parents. You cannot be ashamed of moving into your parents' house, but you can be afraid of moving into some people's house when things become thick. So I think you need to invest in those kind of friendships and relationships intentionally. Sio ati tunakuonanga tu harusi, matanga, na unatuambia nipatieni M-Pesa namba ndatuma. You are never present for people. When you kutuma ndatuma do. When tumieni tu nimeshikana ndatuma do. When life hits, you will wish somebody would be there in person. You go for matangaza watu, stay there the whole day. Kaa nao jioni, kunywa chai kama wengine. Seti nimepitia tu nakimbia. There are some people you just need to slow down your life when it touches on them and be present into your life. When storms come, it is those strong relationships that actually keep you sane and sober, and they bring you back to being in control.
All right, I also remind you guys to send your questions and your comments on 22422. That's the SMS line, 22422. You can send us your SMS, or you can use the hashtag Daybreak, and we'll be able to ongea na wewe hapo with your comments, your views, your suggestions, and your questions as well. I want to bring it closer home for people who are probably watching, and this is for parents who are watching, or relatives who know somebody who sat for their exams, for example, because that's the latest thing that happened, yeah. And maybe somebody didn't do so well. Maybe they were expected to do so well, and they didn't. And we've seen, I think I saw a story of somebody committing suicide, the parents that beat the kid to death. So how does, first of all, the student who might be watching and just happen to switch on the television, it could be even just that one person who is now watching. What could you tell somebody someone like that who failed? Maybe they didn't get the mark they thought they deserved, or they didn't get the mark they thought that they were going to get, rather. And so for both pairs, so for the student who's watching, and for the parent whose child has not performed the way that they expect, how do they rise from a fall?
The first thing I would tell anybody out there is that your performance does not, every kid's performance, there are opportunities for everybody. The ones who got 400, 300, 200, even 100.
The ones who got A, B, C, D.
Life has opportunities for all grades of people. The higher you perform, the more the opportunities. But it doesn't mean that those who perform, that there are only opportunities for those at the top. There are no opportunities for those who didn't perform as per expectation. It is important for the child to first of all know that there are still opportunities in life. There are two things that the child may need to ask. Am I willing to recite the paper? Or am I willing to take the opportunity that my grade has presented for me at the present moment? If it means I have to move to a school somewhere which I had not preferred, because all of these two are opportunities. But the most important thing they have to know is that their purpose for creation and their purpose in life and their value in life is still intact. The grades has not altered their purpose. It has just given them feedback for how they handle themselves during an exam. When it comes to the parents, is that we have to be careful that we do not create children to live out our dreams. Children are not our trophies that we will go with to the groups and say, unaona mtoto wangu alikuwa kwa TV, alikuwa. It is good for a parent to create an enabling environment for a child to perform better. But when the child does not perform, that is when they need you as a parent the most. Because as young as they are learning how to cope with failure, they are learning how to cope with distress, learning how to cope with disappointment. And how you, because you are the first figure of authority that they can see, when they see your negative feedback, your negative conversations around them, telling them afadhali ningenunua ng'ombe ni kamwange ni kunywe. You are treating this child in a manner that whenever they don't achieve at the level they ought to achieve, they don't have coping mechanisms. And so as a parent, you need to know if your child has not performed as per expectation, This is the opportunity to train them how to cope with setbacks. And so the first thing you must do is to affirm the value of the child.
Irrespective
of everything.
Because even mtu mwenye amepata A might not perform well in the year 1 of Form 1 and then start feeling that and you know what happens is that we may glamorize the A child, and we're not saying the A students that you have done badly. Congratulations, you've worked hard and you deserve it. But we are trying to tell these A children that you are better, you are bigger, you are brighter. But funny enough, the world has, and there are so many books that have been written about this, that it is C students, A students work for C students, and B students work for government. So it's as though and some further down.
So the lower you go, are getting up there. Because of what? If we don't create coping and affirming mechanisms so that you affirm this child's value, so that this child can get the confidence. If he's going to recite the paper, he has the confidence to know it is important to me. But if we make these grades, parents especially, that the grades were about you and not the child, so you're treating the child as if they have let you down, they failed you, then the child gets to understand. And that's why I think education is not working in this country. Because children are feeling these things we are doing for our parents. It's my parents who wants to hear I got a B+, I got an A, and they've lost the sense of thinking that the value for the education, my mom has affirmed me enough, and I'm just here to get the skills so that I can become a more profitable citizen. This rebellion towards education is because it is now more of a parent's gig rather than a student-centered, I think. So you affirm the child. Secondly, show the child options. Don't show him that sasa unajua wewe itabidi ukae hapa nyumbani sasa kwa sababu nilikuambia usome huku soma, itabidi ukae sasa nyumbani.
Pambana na hali yako.
Wewe sasa utajua Kenya ni ngumu. Affirm the child. Show him options. Tell him, by the way, I have found another school which can take you with your grades. Na huko ukienda and you change this and you improve this, and then I'll try holiday tuition. Show the child options. You are teaching this child how to cope with disappointment. That's why when they get to vote, when they are over 18 and they don't get their person, they won't go to the streets because they've learned coping, not getting the results as expected. Show your child options. Talk your child. Even the job some of these parents who are harassing kids they're working in, it's not the job they want. They are ever applying. They're being rejected elsewhere. It's only that they don't tell the kids. Show the child options. They now need a parent. They don't need a critic. They don't need a referee. They need a parent. And parenting is commitment and structuring somebody. So have options. Tell him, with your grades you can get this. And I think you'll navigate if you take it that way. There
are some questions that are coming in. We ask guys to send in their questions on 22422.
There's a hot one. If those are questions.
Kuna moja hapa amesema, what if you feel financially abused by your partner in a marriage and you've fallen? How do you rise up again?
Marriages are stormy. When it comes to, especially in the areas of finances, that means the system they had built for their marriage has taken its beating, because either one person, they have not agreed on how they're going to go around their financial matters when it comes to marriages. Secondly, whenever there is a financial problem, a financial case like that, the case is not financial. That's the symptom. The symptoms are in the financial behaviors, but the actual case is that either there is a communication breakdown, or a trust breakdown, or a value vision breakdown, whereby this person sees kununua TV ni important, the other person thinks kupeleka toi shule expensive ni important. And whenever there is that value vision breakdown, it will start expressing itself by somebody either using the resources for the person who feels stronger will begin to use the resources, or will withdraw himself emotionally and make you feel and manipulate emotionally to the point that you have to do what they want. Do you go back to having good gymnastics, good communication, and good all that. So it takes a lot of, that's a deeper problem, but I can see most of the time it's either it's communication, it's vision or it's trust, and the lady feels, or the man feels, this person is either taking too much, bringing too little, or asking for too much and making and you need too little. So chances are they need to see somebody. They need to review and reevaluate their system so that they can ask themselves, is what we started our marriage with, maybe there's somewhere in their marriage they have kids, is it working or should we change it? Should we go everybody yake yake, to share responsibilities, or we share accounts, or it's a system. There is no perfect system, but they have to go back and check their system. Yep.
All right, so remember again, 22422 is the number. That is 22422. 22422 is the number where you can send in SMSs. Someone is also asking that what if you fall in the area of a relationship with the opposite sex? Can you still go back to make a good relationship stroke friendship? Can you mend it? So I guess maybe walikuwa friends alafu wakavuka mpaka sasa sasa wanasema tunaweza baki marafiki
friends with benefits or
ama sasa form ni gani? Nakumbuka ni morning TV tafadhali watu wangu.
Akungojee 10 over 10. Hii tuma 10 over 10. Well, boundaries and friendships are key. When a friendship lacks boundaries, it's bound to get there. It's bound to get into that gray where, what are we having here? Are we having sex? We are about to get into that area. It is always important to rebuild that boundary. And to rebuild that boundary, you cannot rebuild it in silence. It has to be rebuilt by having a structured conversation so that we define whatever we are having. Unfortunately, we let our friendships run on momentum. It's like a boulder falling off from a high stone. So, vilinenda iende kibounsuku. Ikirudivi. It needs to be structured so that you actually know, especially if you are the woman, because should this relationship or this gymnastics produce a life, as the woman you're going to be stuck. And I'm not saying children get you stuck, but this man can automatically wake up and go. But you're going to be left with responsibility living with you and altering how you're going to guiding your life. So it's important for you to rebuild the boundary by structuring a conversation and asking, hey, our friendship has crossed to this point. What is it? So that I actually know whatever we are having, this is the identity, the definition you've given it, so that we don't have things, and then when things flare up, we are now trying to structure it, and now we need a lawyer because now we have a child, or we need, now you are married, and am I this, am I that? I don't want to be in your life and without being defined, what exactly are we doing? And it is important for especially that kind of people to structure that relationship, rebuild and define boundaries. Where was the boundary? How did we cross it? Do we want open borders, defined borders, or closed borders but with a door? Have that conversation.
Thank you so much for your care in the language. I appreciate it. I see what you did there. All right, let's take a look at some SMSs that have come in. There's that one there. What if you have finished your college and unfortunately you got pregnant and your parents are hard on you? How do you handle this? That's an SMS, of course, rightly so. They didn't leave their name. And then they also have Cliff who says, hi, please help and advise. I lost my job 2 months ago, now at home. I don't know what to do. How can I move forward to start a business? Please advise. That is 22422. Do you have another one? No? All right, that's good. So let's start with it's a lady here who says, what if you are finished and, you know, you got a baby, you finished college, unfortunately you got pregnant and your parents are hard on you. So I'm assuming once you finish college, maybe she still hasn't gotten a job and now she's pregnant and her parents are now hard on her. That is regarded in some quarters as a fall, but how does she get back up?
First of all, she needs to reach out to people who can speak to the parents, either an aunt, a pastor, or somebody who can speak to the parents. She needs to ventilate this matter to somebody who can have authority and access to the parents, either your mom, sister, or your grandfather or grandmother, so that they are made to be aware that this is their child and you also have a child. So whatever frustrations they put you under, they are making it impossible for the life, whether it's still in the womb or it's outside. That's the first phase. She needs to find somebody who will have access and authority to talk to the parents, so that the parents are at least made aware that you are fragmenting this life. You are distorting this soul and distorting this life. For that also, she needs to focus on the repairing of her soul. Most of the time when people get children and parents keep hitting you, they develop in you a sense of low self-esteem. You begin to feel lesser about yourself. One of the things I can tell that girl is that getting a child as even unplanned or planned, it may be at the wrong timing, or it came at a time you did not anticipate, but it should not deconstruct your soul to make you feel like your future is lost, your goals are lost. This is one compartment of your life. You can be a mother and still look for opportunities in life, because opportunities are still there. People still are, there are mothers who are working, there are fathers who are working, and so there are opportunities out there. And then don't neglect your inner man, especially as a mother. Motherhood is an internal job. Don't neglect your inner man. Don't allow the pressure of your mother turn to bitterness towards your child, or the pressure of your dad turn to bitterness towards your child. So focus on improving and investing in the development of your inner person. Overcome the three shame, guilt, and fear. And the only way to overcome them is keep investing. Find materials that can help you overcome those three feelings, so that you don't pour that kind of energy into this child, that you are a disruption, you wrecked my life, my parents no longer trust me. Parents always come around. They always come around. It's the impact that takes time and the acceptance that takes time. But parents always come around.
Because they're looking at it like we had set you on a certain path.
Yeah, and now you've changed it like completely. So parents will come around. But you have to know, this child, these are the most critical phases of their development. And if you structure them that way, it's going to mess them. Cliff, for the one who lost the job.
Cliff is the one who says she
lost a job and
minimum of coming. Lost their job 2 months ago. Now at home, and he doesn't know what to do. And how does he move forward to start a business? Please advise.
First of all, is stop spending. If you've lost your job, stop spending. Secondly, don't fall for the next big idea. Don't look for an idea that requires all the money that you have, because you don't have a way of replenishing. When it comes to looking for a business, you have to find a way. If I remove this capital, I have to be able to replenish the capital before the business can replenish that capital. So if you've lost your job, maybe you left Jobo with 100,000, don't go look for a business that requires 90,000 to start. You need to ask yourself, do I have a way of replenishing these 100,000? So for me, if I was to be in that case, I would tell you, find, for now, before you don't know what to do, take care of the basics. Find a cheaper house with the little money that you have. Pay your rent for a longer period of time. With 100,000, get a house of 7,000, 8,000. Pay 8 months rent, so that now you have peace of mind. You have got 8 months of thinking. In those 8 months, you can look for another job. You can volunteer for a business, or go look for somebody who is willing to allow you to volunteer in the organization. Go look for a church or anything that you can volunteer. It is in volunteering that you will get yourself. Keep your mind active and alert. Don't stay in the house and sulk and watch Breaking Bad and umebangaiza tu kwa nyumba. Go out there.
Break bad way.
Go out there. But don't do anything major financially when you're still not clear. Don't go joining your friends that you kuja to relax hapa hivi. Those guys who are calling you to relax, you are running out of the capital, and you don't know, in 40 days you'll be done. So you'd rather get 8 months or 6 months of peace, so you'll have more clarity to think. Food always comes.
All right. There's some other SMS. I don't know if we've, Abel and Minnie, if you've been able to read them, but there's still so many that are coming. Yes. Somebody else has sent a message. They say, I found out my hubby is cheating on me. How do I rise? That's another one. Somebody else says, I'm 40 years a woman. I have 3 kids. Business closed down. I'm in debt. No support from my husband. Please advise. Is there another one? Yes, those are the ones so far. Then there's also another one that just came in, but I guess they'll put it up. There's somebody who says she's a mother of 6, and there are so many, and most of them I'm seeing are in regards to, you know, marriage. So I guess let's start with that one where
debt.
Yes, let's start with the debt one. She's 40 years, she has 3 kids, her business closed, she's in debt, and she's not getting any support from her husband. What does she do?
I've come to discover that to overcome debt, you need courage. And the courage to first take yourself to the people you owe. For you to be able to solve problems, you need to be able to relieve yourself of the pressure. And pressure, as you said, it's time-performance ratio. You need to perform within a very constricted time frame. Go and tell the people whom you owe their debts that this is my situation and this is where my things are. As hard as it may be, some of them will yell, some of them will scream. If they choose to come take your TV set, they would rather take your TV set if it will give you the peace, because the mind can only build an idea, or it can only be hindered from building an idea when it is overly pressurized. So I think that's the first thing. You have to rise up and find a way of talking, whether it's the bank, you go and sell your situation and say, we need to I need more time. And some of us maybe have run out of time. But I believe you can still negotiate your way. I'll tell the lady that if you had the ability to build a business to the point that it could get credit and borrowing, it means that you still have the ability within you. So you should relieve yourself of the financial pressure so that you focus on your ability of rebuilding either a new business. Assess, why did the business go down? Is it poor management, poor strategy, obsolete products? Why did the business go down? So that as you create a new product, because you need a product to make money. And pain is not a product. You need a product to make money. Pressure is not a product. You need a product. So assess and see what could have been the reason why this business went down. Because I already built it and it actually gave me credit rating. Then start going out there with a product, not with a problem. If I come and told you, Willis, manzeni kona pressure ya food, you give me food. But if I came and told you, Willis, I'm thinking, there's something I've started. I'm selling this type of mangoes from wherever. Can you buy this mango? Now, the product now gives me ability to even tell you this mango is 50 shillings. You're now dealing with me through, money is coming into my life through a product. Think of a product that can help you get out of debt, and then assess the processes that got into debt, because debt is a cycle.
Yes.
And when you borrow and you don't know the cycle of repaying, you're going to get into trouble.
What about that lady? And there are many more. I'm sure now they've been loading, and most of them now about marriage, and we'll come to that. But there's one who said that I found out my husband is cheating on me. What do I do?
Well, first of all, men do bad things. Men are bad people.
Which is not an excuse.
Which is not an excuse.
Humans in general do bad things.
I think relationships can survive affairs. They do survive affairs. The pain of discovery is normally the most difficult one, because that tells you it's years or days or weeks of trust that has been abused and eroded. So the first thing is you're going to have a conversation with your husband. I always try to tell people, when you find out, especially couples, that your husband has had something, find somebody, or if you don't trust yourself that when you tell him this, you will not throw a cup at him, you will not go with him with knives. Find somebody who can help you debrief the heat, so that you have that conversation and say, I have found out this is happening. I don't even want to know whether you want to know why or when or how did it happen, so that you don't put yourself in a place where you commit now a crime because you are trying to deal with a crime. The jealousy and the envies and the emotional hurt that occurs when such matters have happened, they're normally very serious. And many people the first emotion will be anger. And if you don't trust your anger, don't confront. Either find some space where you can debrief, go either move at a friend's house or a sister's, so that you can debrief the anger. If you don't know how you're going to express yourself, find a way to deal with the anger, then involve a counselor or a pastor or a marriage counselor in the process so that you can actually see the psychological, the person can be made to see the damages that they've caused. But don't confront when you're angry. You may not be able to, you will come to discover that life is for the country.
All right. So there's so many other questions here, and we're about to cross over to the blue economy, but maybe some you can just ponder on different elements here. Somebody says, I've been married for 27 years. For the last 6 years of our marriage, we've lost it, no communication. My husband, who is more blessed financially than me, is not helping me. What should I do? Rising for before, I've been married for 40 years. The man has completely now neglected me financially. What do I do? Mother of 6 children. I realize my wife acts pornography. Should I get back to her for the sake of the children? Somebody says, my husband really disrespects me, keeps abusing me. He doesn't like it when I share with other people. There's so many comments here. Maybe just one word to, somewhere, because most of them are communication, financial. That one who discovered about porn. And a very sad one here, that somebody says, I'm in a relationship with a boy, and it's like I'm wasting my time because I'm still in high school. So what do they do? So just maybe just
well,
general overview as we wrap up.
Let me just say one word is whenever relationships turn abusive, that means your value has been eroded. And you cannot regain value by demanding it and claiming that I must get it. Abuse is a sign that somebody has lost value for you, and that's why they turn abusive towards you. In a case where your husband is probably not involved and has neglected you, it seems maybe when we do it next week, we may try to do something on relationships, but it seems like the longer...
carry some of them, so in case you don't answer some of them today, we will, and you can still contact at Welly Odendo.
So, I think when it comes to relationships, you just have to be alert and aware that relationships are very dynamic and very seismic. So the longer you stay in a relationship, the chances of them shaking and becoming vulnerable to being shaken are high. What I have to tell the people out there in relationships is that you have to be alert and watch for the changes. Nip it when the change starts. Don't wait until it is ultimate. Don't allow the silence to stay for so long. Start addressing, hey, why are we getting so quiet? Nip it when it is still small. When you feel the first sense of neglect, start addressing it and bringing it on the table so that you don't wait for it over a prolonged time. If you don't get what you deserve or you ask for in the relationship, then that is now the perfect opportunity to involve a third party. Unfortunately, many people are in very abusive relationships, suffering a lot, and they'll say, his story says yongea. My husband does not like me talking about this matter. But you're going to be suffocated in there, and something dangerous is going to happen. So we'll probably create time for it and
yes,
deal with it.
That's what I'm trying. I'll take all of these questions that are coming in, so many of them. We'll tackle some of them next week, because what we do on Tuesdays from now, Welly and I have coined the word engage. So kama mko na mashida, tunakuja tunazisema hapo na tunawasaidia. And again, if you want to seek professional help, some of these cases are very serious and they need professional help. If you want to do, you can contact Welly Odendo out of it, at Welly Odendo. Somebody also asked for your contact. Maybe you can give them your contact.
Or you can reach out to me on 0722 92 50 31 or my Facebook page. You can inbox us and all that. But the number is easier. If you call, it doesn't go through, just text. And
text again.
Our people will call you back.
So tutachukua picha pia. You can follow me at Willy Saburu. Tag at Welly Odendo, so you can go and DM for some of these issues. Sam Gituku earlier on said that I did not read the Bible. To disapprove him, I will end by saying 2 Corinthians 4:17, and I'm reading from the King James Version. It says, for your light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding weight in glory. The key word there is for a moment. Every problem has an expiry date. Have yourself a wonderful day. Let's do this again tomorrow. Asante sana Welly Odendo.
Thank you.
Don't go too far. Blue Economy Conference, ECO, is being held right here in Nairobi. Sam Gituku is also in for the next hour. And now I'm sure he knows ya kwamba mimi na Mungu tuko hivi.